Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, where does this entire NFL taking a knee go from here?
I'm not able to predict because what happened on Sunday was so extraordinary. It was so centered around what one would have done in the civil rights movement involving Martin Luther King Jr. The thrust then was legitimately in pursuit of equality and freedom. I think what happened on Sunday was in pursuit of better ratings.
Well, and not to be a total cynic, but I mean, it really is going to depend on what happens with the ratings. I don't think it'd be anything right away, but these are players with contracts and these are NFL teams with budgets. And so I think we have to see how this actually plays out in terms of viewers.
Will the NFL survive this controversy?
Absolutely, because the NFL is a $10 billion operation, and believe me, they are the best thing going on TV for the moment, and they're going to stay for the moment.
What did you think of the owners sort of co-opting the message that went from racial inequality and police brutality to Jerry Jones standing for inclusiveness and support of everybody being together?
I didn't think they co-opted it. I think they were pretty successful about showing their unity with their players. They were out there with locked arms, and it seemed that they were saying, no, if we have to choose between the president and our players, we choose the players.
What did you think of it?
I think that what they did, Phil, was respond to the reality of the people who buy the tickets and the people who watch the TV. They got a ton of, this Facebook stuff and this business of communicating is really powerful.
All right.
And they received the bombardment of all the people calling and reading. And believe me, that changes everything.
Where does it go from here? Does it, now that it's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, is it done?
I think the next step will be with the kids in high school, with the kids in junior high school. They got to get into the Pop Warner League to change the image. They've been so inundated with concussions and injuries and the violence that comes from that, they changed the nature of the dialogue about football.
He's right. We're already seeing it. Kids in high school and in these leagues wanting to take a knee.
College, knee, high school, bands, everybody is sort of getting in on it. It is interesting to see the debate.
And it's important. And in school, you have different First Amendment rights. It's really murky legally what a school can do, what the kids can do. We may see all of this sort of thing.
Once again, Hurricane Trump has spun his way through another American institution and left people and half of it in shambles. The next presidential primary in California is going to be moved up. That's after Governor Jerry Brown signed legislation to move it to March 3rd, 2020. Also known as Super Tuesday. That's 3 months earlier than the 2016 presidential primary. Now, it's supposed to make California more relevant in the presidential election. It could move issues more important to California to the forefront of the national debate. But with a number of media markets here, it may also make it difficult for lesser-known candidates to campaign because of the size and expense of campaigning in California. And so that's why Melissa and I asked former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown and Democratic bigwig Willie Brown, who does this help? Who does it hurt?
It challenges individuals who would love to run, but they're not yet quite ready to get into the fray. When Jerry Brown signs this bill, as he has done already, the results are going to be Eric Garcetti, Kamala Harris, and a few other people who are thinking about it. They got to do more than think about it. They got to become involved.
And that's not true just for the presidential candidates. It's also true for statewide candidates, because one of the unique things that this does is it doesn't just move the presidential primary like we've seen before. It actually consolidates all statewide races. So if you want to run for assembly or senate, you have to declare in December of the year before and get your machine up and running. Some folks say this helps the incumbents statewide stay in office.
Okay, speaking of incumbents, you named two, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and U.S. Senator Kamala Harris. Let's cut to it. Does this give California presidential candidates an edge?
It does. It gives California ones who are already known. They don't have to spend as much as somebody coming from Georgia, like a Jimmy Carter, for the purpose of becoming involved. Believe me, the Californians could literally break the bank on everybody else's account because they're already here, they're doing what they do.
But is that helpful to the Democratic Party? It's not clear to me that that what can win right now is a California Democrat. Maybe we need to, the party needs to have somebody coming from a different place.
Is California going to pull it to the left?
Well, keep in mind that California could very well end up being the 50,000-pound elephant in the room. We don't know what the results will ultimately be. And believe me, Hillary lost. We better get somebody out there that can win, and it may be a Californian.
It's also going to be an interesting impact here in the Bay Area because we have one of the highest groups of Democratic voters between the Bay Area, and as you stretch the corridor up to Sacramento, you're talking about a tremendous block of votes.
That's right, and they do vote because,
as opposed to Los Angeles,
where there's such a huge population, and you think, why aren't they dominating the state? But they're not, because they just don't turn out like folks in the Bay Area do.